18. Even then, 18 is young. But you can definitely seek out God at that point. But don't make decisions. As I said, you got to seek out God's will. At age 18, God sought me out, right? And I've been through hell and back during that time, right? But I didn't know what relationship should look like, and I didn't know what a father should look like. I didn't know what how to be a man, right? Especially because I probably didn't have a father that imparted his fatherhood in me, right? So you don't know how to be a man at that age. Some people are gifted, some people are not. But definitely you can start praying about it, start fasting, start asking God, start seeking His will. Now, when I say to go and seek after that at that age, doesn't mean that you seek for a relationship alone. Seek God. And all these things, the Bible says, will be added on to you. All these things will come. When I was seeking out the Lord's will for me and Eva, man, I didn't want anything but the will of God. I was so stuck on it that actually God gave me a dream. And, thank the Lord, because I know the Lord only knows I'll only budge if I hear from Him directly. Because so many mistakes I've made in my life that I didn't want to make another mistake. I wanted the will of God, and that was it. And yeah, God showed me a dream. God may speak to somebody else. God may give you signs. Yeah, all these things will happen, right? But you got to seek God first. That's the root. That's where you need to start first. And then all this stuff will come after.
I got a question. Sure. Right. If I'm in a relationship already, what are the boundaries before I get married?
This is your question? I'm joking. I know you're right. What are the boundaries if you're already in a relationship before getting married? Wow. Yeah? Sure, go ahead. So what is suitable for?
Disney Channel.
Disney Channel. Truth be said, you gotta have accountability. Unless you have accountability with somebody that is a spiritual father to you or mother to you, and they're helping you through this relationship, man, it can take turns that you will never imagine. You gotta stay accountable, because I'm telling you, the devil will put seeds in your mind, seeds in your heart. I'm just going to the movies, it's no big deal. Right? Right? That's the truth. You got to make sure you have accountability. That is prime to having a godly relationship before marriage. If you guys can wait and pray and seek God, all the power to you guys, because that's probably the best route to take. But the reality is, in our flesh, we kind of tend to lose focus of that, and we try to steer our own boat. But I urge you to, bring Christ as center to the relationship, and draw your lines. Draw your lines, because the physical part of relationships can get there and creep in very, 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 very easily. Even if you don't think it's going to happen to you, it will happen. Because it's that easy. Anybody can become a father. Anybody. Alright? So that's the reality of the show, guys. Be wise. Is that good enough for you? Any other questions, guys? We're good? Alright.
Okay, one last question.
One last question.
Stephen's going to ask.
Abiding presence and manifestation presence.
Yeah.
What's the difference between the two, and how do you get into abiding presence?
Now, manifestation presence is God's presence in our midst, so you can see Him at work. So there's a spirit moving. You can see healings. You can see prophecies. You can see deliverances. That's His manifestation. The important thing in a relationship with God is abiding presence before anything else, because abiding presence is when you are in the center of His presence. You know, the Bible talks about, and I guess a little bit more theology into here. You know, the Bible talks about the tabernacle, right? The tabernacle, where, you know, the outer courts, the inner courts, the Holy of Holies. If you guys know what I'm talking about. You go into the abiding presence of God when you're in that Holy of Holies. You know, you're not listening to other things around you. In the beginning, so in terms of worship and stuff, you know, we're all together out in the worship here when we were in worship. That's like the outer courts. You know, you're actually worshiping God, but you know, sometimes you get thoughts here and there, and you go off tangent and so forth. Then you go to the inner courts, where you know you feel a stronger presence of God. You know, the thoughts have ceased, and you're more worship to God. And then when you're in the Holy of Holies, it's just His presence, and you're in awe, and His presence speaks to you, and that's where God Himself speaks back. And that's in the time, you know, where you spend. And I said earlier, a man who doesn't make time to pray doesn't pray. And when you make that time, that's where you find His abiding presence.